Welcome to another episode of Husbands Watching Housewives. I'm Scott.
I'm Jeff.
And we just watched an episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yes, or London.
Or London. I mean, if we have to watch wherever they are, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there some ladies who London? No. Ladies who lunch in London?
Yeah, they should have tried to hook up with Caroline.
That would have been great.
Yes. Welcome to London, girls.
Show her around. That would be great. This mic is too high. I don't
want the rocket boat.
Oh, the rocket boat was I would do that.
The boat right down the Thames.
Thames.
Yes, not rocket boat.
Rocket boat.
No,
I mean, especially...
I don't need a Six Flags ride. Okay, I'm just like touring London. I don't need all of that.
I don't know. I think especially if you were having kind of a sleepy day, like that would definitely energize you, wake you up. I'm with Emily. That's a good time.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of the episode?
I usually ask you that.
I know.
What do I think of the episode? It was a lot. Tamra was too much. I really feel like, all in all, I feel like it came from. It feels like the attack on Shannon came from nowhere. Like they weren't really talking about it before, did they?
About what?
About Jeff Lewis.
No, but because she was recently on Jeff Lewis before they went on this trip, so they thought that they should bring it up.
I think because it all got brought up in this one episode, this is the first time we're hearing about it. It feels very sudden. And
well, but we didn't need to hear we didn't need it dropped into another episode. One, there's just too much Jeff Lewis on Bravo shows.
I agree. But I feel like if they'd put it in the end of last episode, at least had Tamra and Heather hey, did you hear about that Jeff Lewis thing? But it just seems really, really, really all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And so for it to become, and we can get there now, or we can go there later, a major kind of
go there later.
Major story point, it's very sudden. It feels very sudden.
It didn't feel sudden to me. It was it just happened at that time.
Yeah.
But I think we'll get to the whole thing later. I was gonna.
Where do you want to?
Starting with the mammogram.
Oh yeah.
Drama. It's good that they had. It's good timing.
Mammo drama.
Drama. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yep.
So that's great. It's great that Heather was like, "You guys need to go and get a mammogram." Shannon hadn't had one in 10 years, so she was really concerned about them, and everything came out great for everyone. Well, Heather, that's not great that she is such a high risk for breast cancer. I totally get what she was saying, that she was upset that they didn't ask about how her
absolutely
mammogram went. Yes.
Yeah.
And she organized the whole thing, and she's concerned about them. It didn't show of course they care about her. They just not all three of them weren't thinking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do believe that when they said, "Oh, we thought you were both inside celebrating," I can see that as being one of the things, but it is telling. And I wonder, when I heard about it, I was like, oh, that's true. They didn't. I wonder how often that is actually happening in other contexts, not just this, but it's like, oh, everyone's doing something great. How are you doing? And they just don't ask her.
Yeah.
And part of me with that registered that she's kind of aloof, and maybe in private seems private, like a private person, you wouldn't
involve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if she wanted to offer something up, she would offer something up,
Or, she, I don't know why she didn't, but she also might have been just not upset, but really worried about the news about her, high chances of developing breast cancer. So they still should have asked. It wasn't intentional. The three of them weren't thinking.
Right.
I mean, come on, it's Gina, Jenn, and Shannon.
Right.
A lot of thinking there, typically. So yeah, it's not surprising, but it wasn't malicious. But I get why her feelings were hurt.
Yeah.
So why she chose not to bring it up at that time, whatever. She was in the midst of worrying about her, potential.
And it was a few days before, and maybe it wasn't until later that she was just like, oh, that's a bummer. They never really asked about me. Maybe she went home, had dinner, woke up the next day, and was like, oh.
Talked to Terry about it. And the thing is, though, for Gina, when Heather finally brings it up on the London trip, and Gina says, I don't understand, in her confessional why she didn't bring it up. It's very hypocritical, and flashing back to Heather being mad at her for not telling her about the Katie.
Not the same thing.
Her heads up. It's a false equivalency.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's not even in the same realm. So I don't know where she was trying to go with that. And she should have just said, she came off like a tool.
Absolute tool. It's like, it's a difference between 8 months or 6 months. But I think more than a week.
More than a week, more than a few days. There were months before when she could have told Heather about this. And she,
Like, I want to make some memes now that just like a little countdown timer, like 2 minutes later, you could have told me about this.
Well, I think what she is getting at is that, you could have told me off camera, but you decided to bring it up and make it a thing at dinner on camera. But it's like, if I was Heather, I'd be like, same thing, girl. You could have told me off camera months ago, then you didn't, waited for this chick to jump on me.
But in Heather's defense, I feel like that's a calculated thing. It's like, well, Gina's acceptable losses in this conversation.
Yeah.
Just so I can make the other two feel bad.
I think when it comes down to it, Heather doesn't really consider Gina like a friend.
No.
So, and I think she and Shannon go whatever way, and Jenn is like a newer friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, it's just, yeah.
I thought it was funny, the whole Katie small talk with Heather.
Oh God, at the airport?
Yeah, at the airport, and just like, okay, all right. And like, I was thinking about it as like, even when you're tired and it's early in the, you don't really want to be traveling, you're cranky or whatever.
Super awkward.
Even if you were there with the person you really just didn't care, you would still be a little bit more pleasant than that. Exactly.
So here's what I'm going to like, I'm siding with Heather in the first thing. I'm not siding her with this thing. Let it go with Katie, or give her a chance to like actually apologize to you without interrupting her so that you can move on. But instead, she's like, kind of like, whatever, we're cool, we're cordial, and then like takes digs in her confessional.
But I did like when they were at dinner and she was asking about her birth mother and everything, and she seemed genuinely interested.
No, for sure.
And then I think
the dig in the confessional, though.
I don't remember this exact. Oh, yeah, she's bored.
The story's interesting. I wish she was interested.
I think it's moments like that like, if that would allow her to really actually get to know Katie, and then they build a rapport and like, enough. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting. That's how you get to know somebody.
Right.
That's how you like get past like, maybe they rubbed you the wrong way the first time, but
Heather's not going to do that. She's like, the story, that's a interesting story. Sorry, you went through that, whatever. But I'm not going to take the time to know you because I'm still pissed at you. And I think you came on the show. No, this is Heather.
Oh, okay.
This is not Heather.
Well,
like you've seen her.
I know, and she seemed really genuinely interested in that time.
In the story, yes, but she does not like Katie. What do you mean?
I'm just saying she could get to like Katie.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but you're seeming disagreeing with me the fact that I'm saying she doesn't like Katie.
You're just really making Heather out to be like just absolutely just like don't give a shit.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying she does not like Katie, but she thought her story was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she's not going to give her a chance because she started off on the wrong foot with the paparazzi thing, and she's not going to get past that.
Okay.
Period.
All right. You get really revved up over OC. This is interesting.
It does rev me up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I still think you were hearing what I was saying.
No, I heard you.
Yeah.
I just, I mean, I just don't think it's that. I don't think it's that, I don't think it's that big.
That, but I'm saying like this is how Heather is, and she showed it by in the scene. Yes, I think she was genuinely interested in Katie's story, but in confessional, she's like, I still hate the chick.
Oh.
In so many words.
To me, it seemed like it was just kind of a throwaway, like, oh, I could, I'll be funny and by saying she's boring. It's an easy one-liner,
No, she doesn't like her.
Okay. You make it seem like you were just on the phone with Heather Dubrow, and she's like, Jeff,
I was.
I hate that girl.
I was, and she was like, I can't stand that hooker.
Although she was on, I've seen Heather Dubrow popping up on some TikToks as some recent podcasts she's been on. And I haven't really stopped to watch them because I'm always on my personal account. I got to switch over to the Housewives account. Yeah. Follow us on TikTok. We got to make some more TikToks. We got to update the... Yeah, because now there's got to be a big red line between Shannon and Heather.
Yeah.
So, and that's why they're on different couches.
And poor Heather's third.
But... Yeah, I still, that whole setup between Heather and Tamra.
So yes, that totally, it was, they'd both talking about this off camera.
Yeah.
For sure, about the interview. So when they're like, oh yeah, I did see that. I was like, oh, this is acting. I believe the sentiments behind it, like, what the hell, Shannon? You know, the gist of it being with Shannon on Jeff Lewis is that she was telling one story to Jeff Lewis and then another story to Heather. I don't necessarily think she was lying, but I think she was
spinning a little bit.
Not spinning, but like it was a very dramatic moment in Sonoma when she sat down with Heather and showed her the pictures on her phone.
Oh, you're talking about that. So, yeah. Okay.
I was saying that, well, it's two things. It's like, one, I for sure think in Sonoma, she told Heather, I think he heard the crash and just didn't care. I sent him a text saying, I got into an accident. He didn't care. Left me on red or whatever. We don't know if he actually read it because we didn't see that.
We also don't know that she sent that as a text.
Yeah.
She just showed us a photo on her phone.
Right. Shannon finds a lot of things on her phone.
Yeah.
Phone. So that's one thing. And then the second thing being, whether it was alone or not. And so it's conflicting or going back and forth. So it's funny that she said, my lawyer said, yeah, it's fine for you to go on Jeff Lewis. But
which they're besties, aren't they? Jeff Lewis.
Very much
her.
So. Very close.
And her.
Very close. And then, yeah. And apparently close to Joey, what's his name? From the...
Joey Fatone?
No. From the WeHo Gays show.
Oh, yeah. They're at that spa together.
So...
What's that guy's name?
It's Joey, but I can't remember his last name. It's like a Z or a...
But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So... Yeah, it's like it's conflicting. She's giving conflicting stories about was it alone, and the story keeps changing. And my thing is, if you're living in the truth and like this is the truth, this is what happened, you consistently say the truth of what happened. You might like remember, oh yeah, there was that detail, or yeah, my friend texted me and I didn't tell you that, for sure that he thought that John heard the crash. So it's like there's little details, little minutia, and then there's like things that change the story altogether. I.e., he sent me a promissory note, or he said something else about it being alone, or
Yeah. There's just details that are
saying like
up.
You have the money. Why don't you? Like she.
Yeah, that alone. I was saying like if it had ended there, I was thinking, oh well, it could be like he said, why don't you get a low interest loan? And she said, you have the money. And he said, okay, and then just gave her the money, but. Based on the order of the conversation, he assumed it was a loan, and she did not.
Right.
Because it's like, well, you have the money, and it's like, I never said like, hey, and by the way, sign this.
And then supposedly afterwards, he sent her a promissory note. But in the moment...
How far afterwards, though?
That's what I know.
Like, was it like it was Wednesday when they talked about it, and, that Friday she got a promissory note, and then she had her facelift scheduled a month and a half later?
No, it seemed more like it came after the facelift. Or no, it would have been before.
I don't know. It might not have been. But they were still together either way, before the facelift and after the facelift. It's not like...
Were they?
Well, it's not like she got the facelift and while she was like under the like wrapped up in gauze, he was like, I can't be with you anymore. Like he stayed around till after the face healed, especially if he paid for it.
Well, then there's that whole thing of like she did it for him because he didn't find her attractive, and like that gain sympathy from him as well. But yeah, it's just I hope they get the timeline straight at the reunion, because it is confusing about who said what said he said. He said.
I don't think that what Shannon said or didn't say on the Jeff Lewis show was particularly damning. The way that the other women are making it out to be. What I'm thinking, unless Tamra is like truly like a long-term mastermind. I remember because we listened. I know. So I know because we were listening to Two Teas in a Pod that before any of this even happened, that she said something about the promissory note, and like we knew about it. I think somewhere on Two Teas, it was she brought it up, and so what I think happened is Shannon probably during a drunken call. Ranted about it to Tamra, and this is Tamra's way of getting it brought up on camera now.
Right.
Because and if she has to, if Tamra's pressed to say it, she'll be called, it was during one of your drunk phone calls.
Oh, I'm sure she'll say it, yeah.
If that's indeed how it went down.
Yeah.
But Tamra needs to stop screaming in absolutes at Shannon Bedore.
Or compared to like Katie's dinner party and the party where she yelled, "You're an alcoholic," she was a bit more. Well, we'll wait to get to like the ending.
Yeah, if you think it needs to wait.
Well, it was pretty, dramatic. Yeah.
Okay. Where Emily didn't really do anything this time around.
No, she didn't. She packed. Katie packed. Her awkward moments with. I had the funny moment with her daughter about is London Island.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah. About her mother. That was a very interesting story. It was very touching. The fact that she's going, or I guess is now, that was back in April, went and met her birth mother is, great. And the fact that she could say, I understand why you did what you did and you couldn't take care of me. And so you had to give me up. And I just want you to know I've had a great life. So that's,
No, it's a bit more, I think she's also saying that, as Katie as a parent, like if she imagined giving someone up for adoption, that's what she would be wanting from them as well, especially as an adopted child, that's what she would want to see. You skipped over all the packing and went straight to that. I was like, what, where did you go?
Sorry.
Because we forgot to mention how Tamra apparently packs with her clothes on hangers.
Yeah.
Or was that performative camera packing? Like, hey, Eddie, let's talk while I pack. And then when I'm done, I can just lift it back out and hang it back up on the hang.
They're going to have hangers at the hotel.
And also, sometimes the rods don't fit regular hangers because they're like high up there and they're made for the non-stealing hangers.
And I think like hangers would just take up so much room in your bag.
And the only reason I would think of it is that would help things stay in form.
I get maybe maybe on the rod. I don't know, but then
it doesn't seem right.
It doesn't. It seems like a lot of extra.
When we go back east for Christmas, should we
pack up?
Should we pack on hangers?
We wouldn't be able to fit we don't have big suitcases.
That's true, and we're only taking one because we're flying Frontier. We got to pay for that stuff.
Yes.
Stupid Frontier.
No, we like Frontier. No, they're not going to pay for us to have an ad.
I mean, maybe Frontier. We go 2 places. I go to way more places. I'm telling you, I used to fly Frontier to Denver when I worked there a lot, and
it was fine.
It's fine.
Okay,
it was fine.
I don't think I might fly them once, but I would consider.
Yeah, Frontier will be fine.
Yeah,
it's not like we're flying Spirit.
I was gonna say the Jenn stuff with talking to Ryan and how you be with Tamra, and it's like and then Eddie asking like how Tamra's gonna deal with Jenn, and it's like whatever. If I was Tamra, I'd be like, we're not meant to be friends, but we can be cool, like and Heather and cordial, because I like Jenn a lot, but then her big red flag of a boyfriend. Talk about like Alexis being ride or die. Like, come on, like Jenn is ride or die. And we both have a lot of red flags, John Jansen and Ryan.
Yeah.
And she just is like, no, this is my man. And, and Tamara's just a drunken fool. And it's like.
What I get the impression from Jenn, especially also as people were coming for Shannon later in the episode, and Jenn is the first person to be like, guys, that is over the line. Like, that's too much. And so I think even in situations where Jenn knows it isn't warranted, I think whoever's getting picked on, she defends. And so it's not necessarily that Ryan is right or wrong. It's that he's being picked on. She wants to defend him.
So if everyone like flipped on Tamra, you think she would?
I think
maybe.
So. Like, especially if it was for something that she knew wasn't true or right. Exactly. She's like, hey, and also I think it's a matter of this can be the truth, but this is the wrong way to go about it. Like, this is inappropriate.
This delivery is not making the point. It's not helping the situation.
Right. So I could see that that's Jennifer. That's Jenn's, kind of just, she likes to protect in that way. And so she sees people coming after Ryan, right or wrong, and that's what she tries to do. Wow, I'm a really good armchair psychiatrist, aren't I?
That was really
damn. That was pretty good of me. All right, but yeah, still the same thing. He's kind of a douche nozzle,
douche lord
in that little vest of his.
Yeah.
We should pause. We should pause their house and analyze and see what it is.
We pause with Gina.
Yeah. So we like to go to open houses and look at houses. We love our house, but we love other houses too.
Yes.
But we had to pause on Gina's because I wanted to see, like, okay, well, how big or small is her place, and kind of analyze, like, it's an end unit townhouse, apparently, right? But we were starting to, like, trying to equivocate it or find its equivalent, like, where we live and be like, oh, what would that be? And now I kind of want to do it to all the houses. Because, like,
we don't really...
We see Tamra.
Yeah, Tamra.
And then we've seen Ryan's now a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So... yeah, it'd be interesting because it's weird because there's the way that Northern California and Southern California real estate prices match up. That's what I'm getting at.
Right. Like, I wonder what the square footage is for Gina's, and it looked, cute. Had a little white picket fence outside.
Yeah, it's modest, I think, in Housewives standards.
Right.
But I wonder, does her house cost the exact same as Jennifer Aydin's house in New Jersey?
Jennifer Aydin's house. Oh God, that's like a bajillion square feet.
I know, right? But I'm just saying, is the New Jersey versus LA, market?
I think you're more saying maybe it's more closer to like Danielle's house, except a single family and not a townhouse.
Right, exactly. But you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying East Coast versus West Coast.
Right, is different. But yes. Okay.
So is Gina paying like $3 million for that tiny townhouse? Probably not.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I took us on a little detour though.
Around the block.
So we agreed. Emily, nothing.
Nothing with Emily.
And then Gina just had that.
Well, the whole thing with the mammogram, which she's gonna like bring it up again next week.
I was thinking
dying on the wrong hill.
I was thinking of her running to Shannon and being, oh yeah, no, you're a strong woman.
You're a strong lady. And that's a smoking gun, Shannon. Oh yeah, God. Yeah. Alexis, you're a liar. No, Gina. No, Gina.
I love it's just your Timothy impersonation. And we can say that because if they actually listen to our podcast, we'd know.
They wouldn't because they're like, ew, Housewives. But
he's making fun of my friend Gina.
Gina is just like all sorts of weird accents.
Yeah.
So we're in London. And
on day one too, I thought that was a little like wow, they couldn't do it. They couldn't even get exactly.
So one stopover, the glam thing.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's Katie's glam. It's not Jen's glam. Jen can't afford to have glam.
Right.
Like, why would they think that she could afford to bring a chick to London like to do her hair and makeup?
Right.
No. She's always like, can I borrow some glam from you? Like,
oh, we forgot about Shannon giving everyone gifts.
Oh, and Tamra being like, you're in the middle of a lawsuit.
Yeah,
right?
It wasn't just Tamra, it was also Heather too, wasn't it?
Put it towards the John Jansen face.
Right.
Yeah.
I also love that Heather Dubrow is not afraid to go makeupless and just
she's good.
She does, yeah. She's got
good, yeah.
Got fresh skin.
She has good like bone.
Yeah. I like a nice, no makeup.
Fresh face.
I mean, I have to think if, before Tamara's face was redone, I'm sure she didn't look that great in the mornings.
I think, yeah, maybe, or it's maybe to her. Like, I think she looked fine before and fine after, but, we'll see at the reunion if it's like with the super high.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I think
the gifts. I didn't think it was a big deal that she gave the gifts. Like, it's not. She has,
they showed the price tag though.
Did they?
They were $595.
Oh, so it's still not that much. But that's the thing, it's like
for a scarf.
Well, it is. But Shannon's not saying she's poor and destitute. She's not like, she's like, I don't want to pay that MFer $75,000.
But she didn't have the money for the lawsuit to begin with. Sorry, for the facelift to begin with.
Oh, well, there's a difference between $75,000 and $1,200, and or I can't do math. $595 each times 6, $3,000.
Right.
So
no, that is true.
So
it was snarky of Heather. So I think there's two things that I'm thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
One, I am not going to disagree that Heather and Tamra came into this trip with an agenda, not necessarily like a get Shannon agenda, but more just like I'm fed up with her agenda. And I think it's coming off of like Heather, Tamra being like, I've heard her drunken ramblings so many times. She's like such a succubus of a friend.
Oh God! But what's
I don't think no shade. I don't think Tamra knows the word succubus.
No.
She'll be the first one to say it too. But I think she's tired of her, and she and Heather were never like super duper close. Like at the beginning of the season, they had a sit down to basically like, let's kind of figure out our stuff because we didn't leave things in a good place. So, but they definitely came with I'm fed up. Let's talk about this. And then Heather, I don't necessarily think I would jump to used. And here's, so yeah.
Hold that for a minute. What is Heather? I don't understand Heather's fed upness. Like, what is Heather fed up about?
With the confusing, conflicting stories. I was saying one thing and then the other. And
I thought you were saying of drunken night phone calls.
She might. I think they've gotten them.
Right.
Before. Yeah, but I think more so because Shannon was closest to Tamra, so she got the brunt of it. I think
confusing stories got it.
Yeah, I think it's more so you're saying one thing and then saying another on this radio show. I don't think I would jump to the word used. I think maybe Shannon, I think it's two things can be true at the same time. Shannon was really upset on that Sonoma trip. She was in a really bad place, obviously. I'm not doubting that. But also, and she needed someone to talk to. And, Gina or Emily weren't available. So she went to Heather. And I want to have a sit down. I want to show you these pictures of my accident. But then you could also think in her mind, she might have been thinking, and this is a really good way to
get this on camera
and get, my point of view across. And, not that she was being calculating and saying like, I'm going to play the victim or I'm going to be more sympathetic, but it's a way of just getting her story across.
Right.
So and she needs someone to talk to. So I don't think she was using Heather. I think it was just more so like, you're available. I'm really vulnerable. I want to talk about this. Hey, Heather, knock, knock. And then...
So you're saying Heather could have been anybody. Heather was meaningless to her.
It could have been Emily. It honestly could have been Emily. It could have been Jenn or Katie. So they were both like, everyone was like, oh, poor Shannon at that time.
So part of me wants to say the same way that on Jersey, everyone accuses, Teresa of being this brilliant mastermind who can, manipulate the women into doing the things that she wants.
Right.
And she's, maybe she is, but she's not. She's not that,
she's not that dumb.
Right. Right. But at the same time, like, is Shannon really a brilliant mastermind who's like, I need to get my story out there?
I don't think she's a brilliant mastermind. I think she's been on the show a very long time and she knows how to play it.
Okay. All right.
So I don't think it's that deep where she's like, I do not think coming into the season, Shannon predicted that where she would be winning so much favor with the fans. Like no one could have predicted that. Like he couldn't. I think she just, I've lost my train of thought.
It's all right. It's all right. I'll try and get you back on the track.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, I would, like, the optimist inside me, the one who likes to think well of everyone. Yeah. It's like, no, Shannon was genuinely feeling that, and I don't think that she would be conniving enough to be like...
No, I don't think she's conniving.
To change her story to benefit herself. I just don't think that... But then I think about what Joel Kim Booster posted.
Right.
And that makes me kind of go, oh, well, maybe she is a little more cunning.
And again, like two things, like she can be very vulnerable in a very bad place, but also she knows how to play the game.
Yeah, like I don't think she went in there and like, okay, put on the tears, and started crying and all that stuff.
So I think, what I was saying, I don't think she came in thinking, I'm going to have so much sympathy from the fans. I'm going to be in a great place. They're going to love me. Probably the opposite. Like I've had a DUI. I look really bad here. But as it went along, more of the cast members were siding with her than Alexis, with the exception of Heather and Tamra, who are still good friends with Alexis.
And kind of Emily.
Yeah.
Well, definitely Emily now.
Yeah. I'm saying Heather and Tamra are still good friends with
Alexis. So they still are. Yeah.
Siding.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like so strongly as the other women are with Shannon. So as it went along, she's like, oh, people are like on my side here. They're really like, boosting me up. And so I think it just happened that way. So, yeah.
So I wouldn't say, I would agree with you. Heather was, I think, used as a strong word.
Yes.
Violated is a strong word.
Yes.
Crystal.
Yeah.
But I think she definitely could say she felt manipulated.
Yes.
And I don't know, like, do I believe she was, I don't know. I can see room for manipulation, but I'm just kind of on the fence that Shannon, even though she's played the game this long, I just can't see her as like planning that far ahead.
not that far ahead, but I think in the moment in Sonoma,
It was just an opportunity.
it was an opportunity, and she went with it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And also, too, I think just going back to telling Heather that, like, of course he knew about the accident. Not of course, but, like, she believed he knew about the accident and didn't care. And then going on Jeff Lewis and saying, like, I've never thought about that. That's kind of weird to, like, say the words, I haven't thought about it, Jeff. And maybe she was, I don't know how she was, what frame of mind she was in that day. She did the interview with Jeff Lewis. But, you know, she could have been like, just like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Because she said in scene when they brought it up at the dinner, oh, I shouldn't have said that, you know, like, I'm not trying to be a Shannon apologist by any means, but I mean, it does seem plausible, like, I'm on a radio show or, you know, with one of my best friends.
Exactly, but still, I'm out here saying something, like, maybe I'm not going to share everything I'm feeling about the matter. I'm going to say that for the camera.
or maybe... But then she said her lawyer said, you need to go on the show because they're kicking your butt in the press.
Yeah, see? Yeah, I'm open.
Again, there's so many conflicting things with Shannon. Like, that's why I don't totally buy whatever she is selling, because she is just this, like, it's never straightforward with
right.
her.
And I think that's when some of the women will say you're playing the victim.
Yeah,
is that you're not owning up to a part that you're playing in this.
Right.
That yes, there's some pretty shitty things being dealt your way. We're not going to deny that, but you're not owning up. I guess it comes down also with Tamra's, you know, continual battering of, like, you're an alcoholic. You're not taking ownership of the fact that you played part in this. Although she did go to rehab and she did.
It was like a rehab.
Went to treatment though, and she did. You know, she's working on her unhealthy relationship with alcohol, you know, that sort of.
Well, the fact that Tamra said she's going to run to the bar, and then the next scene, production is very quick to show
doing her dirty,
like, I want a Belvedere, and like they like zoomed in on the drink.
I don't know, it was like they might as well have been having like the camera just follow the drink around, like follow the bouncing drink. Yeah, exactly. Done like old Goodfellas scene, get that drink, But yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I'm saying, like, Shannon's not just completely ignored the whole thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, I do feel like even early on in the season, Shannon was giving the DUI and her recovery from it. Or it's not the right word, but she's been giving it lip service. Like, you know, I'm sure she is mortified and, you know, very thankful and blessed that she didn't hurt anybody. But definitely, yeah, I think she's been a little flippant about some things. I wouldn't say as flippant as Tamra screams about it.
Yeah,
but definitely.
I wouldn't drink on camera if I was her, but also Shannon or Tamra doesn't need to, like, throw it out there. Although she's right about, like, running into, like, in a drink, but, like, you know, and it's just like it just comes off really. And that's the delivery is really harsh, and it makes her seem like an asshole.
But that's also what makes me think in the end that Tamra is right. That this whole thing with Jeff Lewis and the whole promissory note thing, all this thing is either something Shannon herself told Tamra and is now Tamra's trying to get out there. Just again, I think Tamra's side of things adds up a little bit more smoothly, and Shannon's story keeps changing and stuff.
So Tamra's more a straight line, and Shannon is a spiral.
Right. He's like a little she's playing Candyland or something and shoots and ladders. And I think I'm just taking to Shannon's side a little bit in the same way that Jenn sticks up for Ryan. I feel like she's being really ganged up on in a way that's not necessarily called for.
It's not like for poor Whitney, who had like 3 chicks on her.
I don't know. I think give us time, Emily will jump in
there. She's been like a huge supporter though, she and Gina.
Yeah.
No,
but you get what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah, and also too, I don't like Tamra's delivery. It was super harsh, and like I know she wasn't necessarily laughing at her. I think she was laughing at how ridiculous Shannon can be.
Yes,
and like running off from it, and she couldn't help it being like, "Oh God, you're doing Shannon thing."
I agree.
You're doing your thing, and also you're behind bars, and also it kind of was funny that they were like talking about her, and she's like 5 feet from them, like, girls, like, wait till she gets in the elevator.
But it's also like she storms off, and like also you could tell that they're like, you want to go get her? It's just like production's not going to leave. Go get her. We're in London, for God's sake. She's like, I'm going
go home.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going home, like home to Orange County or home to the hotel. Which, by the way, you're only on the roof of your own hotel.
Right.
Let's get in the damn elevator.
It might be elevator bank.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure about that. But yeah, I think you're right. Tamara was laughing at the ridiculous, like, temper tantrum. Like, I'm leaving. And then turns around. Oh, what are you talking about me for? If you're leaving, then leave.
Or standing your truth and be like, no, this is blah, blah, blah. I'm not lying here. And yeah. But for sure, Tamra and Heather, like, were like ready.
They orchestrated, but I think because
with the mammogram thing too, the mammogram thing.
You said the bananagram.
Sorry,
it's like, are we playing that now?
The mammogram. Sometimes I can't get words out on this podcast.
Well, we're old and tired. It's okay.
Yeah. Because they talked about the mammogram thing in the hotel room. So for Tamara to be like, oh, by the way, how it was like, it was a perfect setup to get like Heather's story out there. So,
And also, as much as Tamara likes to talk about how she stirs the pot and like she's good at it,
she's moving the story along.
She's moving. She is blatantly obvious.
About
like just her delivery of it all. You went to get a mammogram? Like her acting.
About it.
Yeah. Like, and has she always been like that? Like even back in the day? Or is it just that she's returned that she's like, oh, I need to keep things spicy? I don't get it.
Well, it's like she said on the pod when they're talking to those content creators, she felt the pressure coming into the last season and coming back to deliver because the show was in a bad place.
Right.
So she was, brought in to be like, to move things forward and to like get people watching the show again. So in a sense, I think she was definitely performative, but I don't. The thing with OC is that I don't really remember the details so specifically with this show as I do with other shows that I've like watched from the get-go, so from the beginning. So I can't say like that's how she was. I just remember like just disliking Tamra so strongly when we used to watch the show.
We could talk about it now, but we can talk about it later if you'd rather, if you feel it's boring. But like, what didn't you like about her?
I thought she was just a mean-spirited person and was it's funny, she was really mean to Alexis, and it was like very much everyone ganging up on Alexis, I thought. And so at that time, and so I didn't really like that. And I just thought that, she wasn't very likable. Like none of the women were very likable to me, and that's why I stopped watching OC.
Oh, none of them.
None of them.
Okay.
Like I didn't like Heather, didn't like Vicky. I think I don't recall really watching much of Shannon. I think I stopped watching the show around the time that what's her name? Well, I'm not going to mention because like Beetlejuice,
Voldemort. Can't name them. So, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, but like, I was just like not feeling OC as strongly as I felt the other shows there.
And so, and I think I can, if I may put words in your mouth. I mean, I never knew anything about Orange County, never watched it, never knew who Tamra really was. And then you introduced me to Two Teas in a Pod.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was because she was humbled because she didn't have the job anymore. Or if that's truly how she is, but like she definitely seemed like a reasonable person and still does, like when she's not on the show. And that's why I think it's such a huge, like, oh, she's really putting it on because it's not out of character, but it doesn't seem in line with how reasonable she is on the podcast
version of herself.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. With me, I just really enjoy the chemistry between Tamra and Teddy. And also I think, yeah, she's very normal and very like funny and reasonable, and
self-deprecating.
On the podcast. I think the podcast is Two T's is like a version of Housewives because like they're talking about their lives and their husbands and family and like stuff going wrong and
and they can control the narrative. It's only with
yeah, but it's not like they have to perform.
Right.
It's like Teddy talking about her cancer isn't performing or Tamra talking about her relationship with her daughter,
or House and Big Bear,
yeah. It's just like their lives, sharing their lives.
Yeah, just a little bit less pressure.
And so I found her, and I was surprised because I really started watching the show because I love Teddy so much, and I was like, okay, Tamra, whatever. But then I really grew to like Tamra a lot, and so that's the only reason I started I started us watching OC.
Oh, you started us. Remember, I was the one who's like, why don't we watch OC? Why don't we give it a try? And you're like, well, Tamra's coming back, so.
Well, I was like, when you were like, why don't we watch it? I was like, no, I don't like those women. You know? This reminds me, Shannon's line at dinner where she's like, my life is what was it, the line about being a reality show?
Oh, it's a reality show is slipping into my life. My real life.
They all pause and they're like, wait, this is our real life. Breaking the fourth wall.
Right.
And everyone's like, no, that's my real life. It's my real life. And she's like, I'm going to go, guys.
Yeah, that I forgot. That also plays a part in my kind of belief that she's, is maybe being more manipulative and looking at it as though, she has a role to play or, she can kind of create her own, direct herself.
Yes.
So,
produce herself.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. That was very like, what?
I mean, I also think that the women replying back to that were like, no, we're on a reality show. This is our real life.
This is what I'm doing. It's my real life.
There's got to be tongue-in-cheek of that. I'm sure when they're, they on press junkets, like, yeah, it's just a glimpse into our real life. Yeah.
But that's what it's supposed to be. Right. More heightened.
Yeah, and I think I would think that for everyone on the show, that's correct, except I don't know, Tamra seems a little phony on the show.
I don't think she is.
So, I don't know, I think
it's a part of her, like, I'm not being a complete Tamra apologist, because I have, just for the record, but I think
we have people who may differ with you.
I called her out on things in our podcast.
But you were going to say?
I'm not an apologist, but I think, there are parts of her personality that become more amplified on the show. And so I think that's what it is. She's not going to be like fighting with chicks at Big Bear, at the Big Bear restaurant, wherever they go to, the diner.
I'd say the saloon.
But like, she knows this is my job and she gets revved up and, whatever.
I think, again, because last season was all about Ryan and how Jenn, Ryan, it wasn't about Tamra. I want Tamra to have a story that isn't about her pissed off at other people. Yeah. We've talked about this a couple episodes.
Yeah, I think it's just like a low drama period for her in her real life. She doesn't really have much to
like if something else is going on, I think that would be nice to hear about or learn about. Even I want to see her and Whitney going to motorcycle clubs.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, it's interesting for sure. I think next week's going to be interesting.
Right. Oh, did we really get into the proof that Shannon?
Oh, we didn't get into that. Which, can we do these giant
air quotes
together? Can we do it together, you and me? Proof.
Or the smoking gun, Shannon. Oh my gosh, it's the smoking gun. It is not the smoking gun. The smoking gun would be if she did what she said she was going to do and dug up papers with Alexis Bellino's name on it and Jim Bellino's name on it, suing Shannon Bedore. Yeah. She did not do that. She showed a text where Alexis, and we all know how Alexis can like flip a bitch.
Yeah. Let me be devil's advocate though on this. It could very well, as a married couple, as an entity, we, the royal we, are suing you, meaning, if Jim Bellino's going to sue you, it's just like, we're suing you. That's how it is as a married couple, how it can be. I don't agree. I think that's kind of bullshit. Like, I think that she was probably definitely suing them. But my only next guess is that she might have taken her name off the lawsuit at some point.
Well, she said that when she was talking, they did the flashback, she said that they were divorced when this all went down with Jim suing Shannon and Tamra. So again, I'm going to need the timeline of like, when did they get divorced?
You want some receipts and some proof? And
no Jeopardy. I don't need all
screenshots.
I just don't think that was the smoking gun that proved that Alexis Bellino was.
I agree. I mean, it's very suspicious that she said, we are suing you. And that's, very much a strange verbiage.
Yeah.
But I can also imagine if I got home and, my husband was pissed off at someone, was like, we're going to sue that MFer, and like, we're doing it. Like, okay, we are doing, that's the only thing I think of. But I also...
together, like, again, I don't... like.
At the end of the day, I don't care because it's something that happened 5 years ago.
It's 2018.
Yeah, so 4.5 years ago. Again,
Were you checking your watch?
no, the watch I don't wear. I'm just saying it's such a long time ago.
Yeah.
And did it happen on the show?
They were. I can't remember.
I don't think they were.
No,
I
because
see way more footage
it
about
wasn't
it.
because, well, Alexis for sure was not on the show in 2018.
Yeah.
So I don't even. I'm gonna have to like go on a deep dive about like how this lawsuit came about.
Shall I open a Reddit for you? Dear Reddit. Yeah, no, I just don't care. Like, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, I get that that's be a reason to dislike someone. You know, I wouldn't necessarily be thrilled about it either, but do a better job of making it a storyline. That's all.
And it's just so nice. Like, oh, I found this. Yeah, I not texted her to not invite her on the trip. I wouldn't have found this last text.
I want to believe that that's true because, like, oh, holy crap! I thought that stuff gets deleted, and especially how many phones that she had in that time, you know.
I guess not many.
And if she doesn't text her that much, but
it's like Shannon went to production and was like, "What's Alexis's phone number?" And she's like, "Boop boop boop." Oh crap! This message.
Yeah,
the last
right.
message I have from her.
Yeah, I want to believe that. It could also be that, like,
when she blocked her.
Well, you can unblock her, and I don't see.
Sure, blocking her. Yeah.
I don't know how any of that works.
I don't know.
So it was not indeed a smoking gun.
No.
Like, what I agree with you. I'd like to see the paperwork that Shannon swears exists, but it doesn't mean that paperwork doesn't exist. It just means that also, in addition to this, what a quinky dink, I got this text message.
I would call my lawyer and be like, "Can you find that document that has Jim and Alexis Bellino versus Shannon Storms Bedore on it?"
I guess it'd probably be scanned somewhere. As I say, do you think they just keep like old law files from some weird defamation
on the
suit
internet
from 5 years ago?
somewhere. Someone would have like posted it on Reddit by now.
Get to it, Reddit. So,
Lord.
yeah, I next week will be interesting. It looks like they're going to do the typical ignoring that something bad happened and go out and have fun, but then
Right. And then stuff goes down with like Tamra and Shannon and then Tamra and Jenn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see.
Want to talk about anything else?
No. I'm glad I remembered the whole like reality comment. That would.
Oh yeah, very, very good. Yeah. And for once it's not hot up here, I'm feeling all right with it. Kind of pleasant. But
pants.
Unfortunately, I'm so proud you're wearing pants. But unfortunately, I'm still 46 years old on a Thursday night, and I'm tired.
Yes.
We got to get on the Bravo list for screeners.
Seriously.
How can we? Do you think anyone else gets them other than Teddy and Tamra for 2 T's? That's a tongue twister.
Well, for sure, Queens of Bravo's gone, though, because they've said before, like, we watched the first 3 episodes of, like, X whatever show, and it looks great.
You don't think Jen Aiden ruined it for everybody, the screeners?
I think maybe they keep a better track of it, and so if you were to lend it out, it would like actually like flash like Jen Aiden or so-and-so is given their
property of Jen Aiden.
Yeah.
Or it probably has a watermark at the bottom. Yeah. Yes. I promise if we got screeners, we got advanced viewings of this, we would, every letter of the law, we would watch. We would pay attention to it.
And we would record beforehand, like we'd like do like a bunch in a row, but we wouldn't release them until the episode came out. We're not here for spoilers.
No, we're not. Yeah, we're not one of those sites that, you know,
we're not breaking news here.
No, we're quite literally discussing something that just happened an hour ago. So on that note, till next time.
All right.